These pictures from an FBI bulletin obtained by CNN show 76 grams of PETN in an anatomically shaped sheath tucked into a pocket stitched into underwear. It was allegedly worn by Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab to avoid detection during screening. There is scorching from the attempt to set off the bomb, and one photo shows the triggering device, a melted syringe with plastic film-like material and tape. Preliminary analysis indicates it contained ethylene glycol, an ingredient in coolants, and antifreeze. A claim of responsibility from al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula called it an advanced bomb and touted the fact that it defeated American security. A U.S. counterterrorism official says the statement appears to be authentic, and it seems credible that the group had some involvement in the attempted attack. The government of Yemen, where the al-Qaeda affiliate operates, says Abdulmutallab visited the country at least twice, once 4 or 5 years ago and again from last August to early December.
You do worry that next time, the lesson they'll take from this is, next time what we need is 2 or 3 guys on each plane and several planes so that we can have some assurance at least one of them does blow up. And so I'm not sure I would take a whole lot of comfort from it.
U.S. officials say the alarm raised by Abdulmutallab's father more than a month ago was not specific or credible enough to put the young Nigerian on a terror watch list. But critics say there was a failure to connect the dots, including his use of cash to purchase a one-way ticket, that he didn't check luggage, and perhaps most importantly, the British decision to deny him a new visa last May.
I just don't believe that we'll ever have a scenario where we'll get more advanced warning of an attack on America. It's hard to imagine that this will happen. And yet, we failed to put that information together.
Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula says the attempted attack was retaliation for an alleged U.S. attack against terror targets in Yemen. 2 prisoners released during the Bush administration from the Guantanamo Bay detention facility are among that group's leaders, but counterterrorism officials say they are still investigating just how tightly linked that organization is with the attempted bombing.
Many family members and friends of the man accused of trying to blow up a plane with nearly 300 people on board are simply stunned by the news. Our Mary Snow caught up with an old classmate of Abdulmutallab who remembers a peaceful person.
John and Karen, as the world learns more about Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab as the man accused of plotting to blow up an airliner, one former schoolmate now living in the U.S. remembers his old friend from middle school and high school very differently. Efemina Mokadi is having a hard time making sense of how his former schoolmate, Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab, could now be a suspected terrorist. Mokadi, who's from Nigeria, is seen here as a student. He went to the same school as Abdulmutallab in the West African nation of Togo. When you heard this news, what was your reaction?
I was shocked and I was surprised, and I didn't believe it at first till I saw more photographic images which showed that this was a student that I went to this was a student I went to school with. So once I saw that, I was like, man, this is unbelievable. This is out of this world. We would have never guessed.
What was he like?
He was a peaceful person. He was a friendly person, sociable, and someone, if you had a problem, you can always go and talk to. And he was always willing to help students, and a lot of teachers in the school also liked him because he was also an intelligent kid.
Was he a religious kid?
He was a devout religious person. He worshiped. Religion was one of the key aspects of his life, and he was someone that always prayed and followed the traditions of his religion.
Was there anything that he ever talked about that made you think that he was somewhat of a radical at all?
Nope, never.
Mokadi, who's 20, says he last saw Abdulmutallab in 2007 when Mokadi left Nigeria to come to the U.S. He describes the boarding school he attended with Abdulmutallab in Togo as a small elite school. He says while the two mostly talked about basketball, they sometimes did discuss religion. Mokadi is a Christian and says he did ask Abdulmutallab questions about negative perceptions about Islam.
What we saw on TV was being people portraying them as bad people. And that's what led me to curiosity even to talk to him and ask him, is it true? And he said, no. If you ever see me come to school with with a bomb or something, nah, it's always peace. That's what the main philosophy of general is about Islam.
Mulcahy says in the last few days he's been keeping in touch with former schoolmates on Facebook.
They were all shocked. Some of them are terrified. Some of them don't want to talk about it. Some of them are like, I can't believe it. Some of them are like, wow, this is unbelievable. Some of them said, you know, at first some of them don't even want to believe that's him.
Mulcahy says he last saw Abdul Muttalib in 2007 and never kept in touch with him after that.